How's it going, everybody? This is RaiderKnight, and welcome to a video in the world of Age of Civilizations. We're playing the Napoleonic War mod, and we're playing as the United Kingdom, since I think it'll be pretty fun to play as the United Kingdom, since they have, they don't really have that many colonies in the Napoleonic War mod, so obviously we have a lot of issues to deal with. We don't have control of America, and we're actually fairly weak and pretty vulnerable to an attack, so obviously, let's be friends with the United States. We're going to need them if we go to war with France. Obviously, in the actual Napoleonic Wars, we have to go to war with the USA and France, so obviously we're going to try to be friends with the USA, so that doesn't happen. So we're going to have some alternate history. There we go. And I definitely don't want to lose this little point we have in Africa. So let's try to defend that real quick as well. So we have defended our African colony. We're losing in India, so we might have to defend India as well. So if I get troops here and it seems that we're not really gaining land, it's because I have to deal with this Indian war as well. I say we just defeat India right now to get it over with, so let's do that. We gotta defend our colony from the enemy, so I think it's just the smart decision. And we're at war with some random country, but it doesn't really matter too much. We have, what is this, Burma? Apparently Burma is a country right now. So let's go in and let's invade, let's go into Denmark. And let's start to steal all this land away. We already defeated Denmark then, apparently. But we're gonna go over here. Oh, and we just took it back. Let's go into Prussia. This is the first step into France, I think. We're very close to Paris, so I say we might as well just take over France right now. Send all the troops into France and defeat them. And France has been defeated fairly easily. Now let's go into Spain. So we just soloed France for the most part. The USA is pretty huge as well, so things are looking good, but we still have to defeat the Ottomans, and we still have to do a few more things. As well as fight these random countries that spawn up. So we're going to have to go after Iceland, etc. So, and now we're having issues against the Chinese. That's great. China actually might be a pretty hard war, so we might have to actually focus on the war over there. Let's go into Iceland, and let's also let's take over all of Greenland if we can. Do we have anything on Australia? Yes, we do. And China, or no, it's not China. The Dutch East Indies are over here. Well, let's go to war with them as well. I don't see why not. So let's just take them over real quick. This should be a pretty quick war, pretty easy war, so let's just hope that goes by pretty easily. As for China, this might take a little bit, and it might be a little bit harder to win this war over here, but let's hope for the best. Because China actually has a decent country at the moment, so it's going to be pretty hard to beat them. Let's get the troops up here. Let's go into mainland China. We're already in Tibet, so we're already doing alright, I guess. Let's also take over this little territory that they already stole from us. And let's go into... That's about all we can do for this turn. So let's go back into Tibet. They already took Tibet over. So that's great. Why did they have to steal good old Tibet from us? Really, the Russians haven't been helping us that much. I'm surprised. Are they dealing with the Ottomans at the moment? Or they should be helping us a lot more, but they're really not doing anything. So, thanks for that, Russia. It appears Russia's only goal right now is to take over this region in the Middle East. Or, I'd say the greater Middle East. You can't really count this as the Middle East. People refer to it as the greater Middle East, but I don't know. It depends what you want to call it. So let's go into Shanghai over here. in this territory, and let's go into the Beijing region. So we just took over China's coastline for the most part. And let's finish off their mainland. So it appears that China is officially lost. They were the strongest country, so after this we really don't have any enemies that are going to be too much of a threat other than maybe the Ottomans. So let's go over here into northern China, and that's pretty much the war. Let's also go into Japan, since it's pretty small, and it'll be pretty easy to take over. So Japan's lost. And yeah, I think we for the most part won. Obviously Japan has a few little colonies in Indonesia, so let's go take all those over. Do we have anybody else to worry about at the current moment? We have Iran on our border. Actually, we have the Ottomans right here on our border as well. So let's deal with that real quick. Our African colony is kind of a joke right now. We should have focused a little bit more on it earlier in the game, but we really didn't. But it's alright. Let's go over here. Let's take all this over. Let's do something here as well. I say we just mostly take over whatever country this is. What are they called? Kazmbi. Okay. Well, they're going to get taken over. The Ottomans are already on, like, their last leg. What happened? They were like an empire a couple turns ago. Apparently the African countries, including the, I'll just call them the Saudis. I don't even want to call them the Duran Emirate. I don't even want to call them that. I'll just call them the Saudis, but the Arabians pushed them out, so we're gonna have to go into Iran now, or Persia. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, it's Persia in this mod. So let's go into Persia and let's finish off the main powers. Ethiopia is gaining some land as well, though. So let's go into Arabia and let's go into all this land out here, I guess. Let's also fund these regions because they're starting to get pretty poor. And let's take over some land over there in Western Africa. And let's finish off a lot of this region over here. And let's go into the Moroccan region. So it was a pretty much an easily won victory. So I say just for the fun of it, we should kick the USA out of the alliance and take them over just because we want our colony back, I guess. So let's kick out the USA real quick and let's just wipe them out. Let's pull a good old 1812 Canada takes over Michigan and all the rest of it. I don't know, scenario. Even though technically in 1812 they actually never really did too good. After the only thing in 1812 that the British Empire did good in when it comes to the War of 1812 was they did do good in Michigan and taking Detroit, and they did do good in the South. But really after that, it was kind of just they really didn't have the resources to send their ships over here. Not to mention that their ships actually were getting shot down quite a bit in the actual war. But yeah, that's how the war went. But I think this war will go a lot better for us since we have a lot more resources now, I guess. But then again, the resources in this game are kind of broken, so you really can't make a correct scenario yet that's super accurate. So let's finish off Ethiopia, and I think that'll pretty much be the war. Let's go into Washington, unless Spain takes it, I guess. Spain has a lot of land over here still, even though Spain isn't even a country, so how the Spanish colony runs itself, I have no clue. In a real scenario, I don't think they'd be able to run themselves. I feel like their government wouldn't have enough resources to survive after that. But let's finish off the last couple territories. The USA is sticking around though, they're not going to give up without a fight, so let's fight them even better, I guess. And I think that's the war. The Russians even have a decent amount of land over here now, even going down to Washington. and Seattle and Oregon. So, yeah, I think that's the game. For the most part, we have won. All that's really left is the Saudi Arabians. So, let's take that out real quick. And we've won. So, overall, a pretty good little game. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.